For a long time, I've understood property as one of the central problems in our society. We assume that it is what it is and that there's nothing we can do about it, but I don't think that's sufficient. I think we have to look at what's going on inside of this institution, and I have a lot of hope that through doing that, as difficult as it is, that's actually the shortest path to either solving or mitigating at least some of the deepest problems.
It's really refreshing to come in and have so many wonderful ideas, people that are thinking outside the box. They all seem to be wanting to work together to have these conversations.
People have much more agency than they very often realize, and they have to organize collectively. Alone, we don't have that much agency. We have to organize, but at the same time, we also have to find new space outside the existing political structures.
So I think it's incredibly important to have lawyers and policymakers, people who are really focused on very kind of narrow, incredibly important issues, together with artists and thinkers who are kind of questioning deeper concepts or understandings.
Academics, policy thinkers, people coming from foundations like the Katali Foundation. Yesterday was amazing to hear Amaka speak about her restorative economics framework.
You know, this piece around ownership is an interim, interstitial strategy to how we actually get back to land stewardship. We need to actually ensure that first there is land that we can protect for the public good into perpetuity. And what are the vehicles that we use to protect those pieces?
What we started to realize was everyone's trying to solve the housing problem by building cheaper homes. But the real question underneath it was the theory of land, how we organize and who captures the value of land. You know, if you take any of the buildings around you, which are very expensive buildings, you move them in the middle of Siberia, how much is that building worth? Next to nothing. Actually, most of the value is about the associational value of land, i.e. that land's access to labor markets, cultures, parks, all these hundreds of other things.
Community ownership is not just about the asset and the way that that's governed collectively as a community, but it's the process by which we bring people into community and ownership over something.
Often communication relies on our interactions, and those interactions in the online world are represented through data, and how we protect that data has there's a lot of mechanisms from property that we can apply to that protection of data, whether that be copyright, liability, or privacy. And so I think that I'm coming to this conversation from that lens of like, how do we intellectually arbitrage property law concepts to data ownership challenges?
I think it's a very complicated problem, and it's not just one thing. It will need changes in laws, but to get changes in laws requires changes in the ways in which people organize and how they think about their relationship to the varieties of form of property and the kinds of ways they demand that and organize themselves. So ultimately, it has to be a change in laws and mindsets, but more immediately, it has to be an organizational problem and a collective action problem.